Poisoning at the South Pole. On May 12, 2000, in the midst of a bleak Antarctic winter, Rodney Marks, an Australian astrophysicist, met a sudden and enigmatic demise at the Amundsen Scott Station. This research facility, situated at the geographic South Pole, was operated by the United States. Due to the perilous nature of winter flights to the South Pole, Marks' remains were preserved in freezing conditions until the arrival of spring, when they were transported to New Zealand. A subsequent post-mortem examination unveiled that he had succumbed to methanol poisoning, likely ingested unknowingly. A thorough investigation ensued, encompassing interviews with 49 individuals who had shared the station with Marks during the winter. This inquiry conclusively ruled out suicide and deemed it improbable that Marks had accidentally poisoned himself. In 2008, the New Zealand coroner concluded that there was no substantiated evidence pointing towards intentional poisoning of Marks. Nevertheless, the circumstances surrounding Rodney Marks' poisoning remain shrouded in mystery, leaving it as an unspoken and haunting enigma. The first ever murder at the South Pole. Mallory and Irwin on Everest. On June 4, 1924, British mountaineers George Mallory and Andrew Irwin embarked from their base camp situated on the north saddle of Mount Everest. Their audacious goal was to achieve what no one had done before, to conquer the summit of the world's highest peak. 4 days later, a fellow member of their expedition caught sight of them ascending the mountain's northeast ridge, just approximately 800 feet shy of the summit. However, as dense clouds enveloped the ridge, Mallory and Irwin disappeared without a trace. For decades, historians and mountaineers alike have pondered the fate of Mallory and Irwin. Speculations abound that they might have indeed reached the pinnacle of Everest, standing at a breathtaking 29,029 feet, only to meet their demise during their descent, likely around June 9, 1924. In 1933, Irwin's ice axe was discovered at a lofty altitude of 28,097 feet, confirming their remarkable ascent. Then, in 1999, an expedition uncovered Mallory's remains on the formidable north face of Everest, located at an astonishing elevation of nearly 27,000 feet. There were reports of another body in the vicinity believed to be Irwin's, though it was never located. The central question of whether Mallory and Irwin reached the summit prior to their tragic end endures as an unsolved mystery, leaving their remarkable feat and ultimate fate a subject of ongoing intrigue. Amelia Earhart's last flight. When Amelia Earhart, the American pilot, set out to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe, she had already achieved worldwide fame. Just 5 years earlier, in May 1932, she had accomplished the remarkable feat of being the first woman to complete a solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic. Her aviation prowess continued to make headlines in 1935 when she undertook the inaugural solo flight from Honolulu, Hawaii to Oakland, California. However, it was in July 1937 that the world would witness a baffling and tragic turn of events. Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, embarked on their globe-circling journey, departing from Lae in Papua New Guinea on July 2. Their destination was Howland Island, situated approximately 2,550 miles across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, where they intended to refuel. As they approached what they believed to be Howland Island, Earhart managed to establish radio contact with a U.S. Coast Guard ship. The last transmissions from Earhart conveyed her inability to locate either the ship or the island. Swiftly, the U.S. Coast Guard ship initiated a search operation, joined by U.S. Navy vessels in the subsequent days. Despite extensive efforts, no remnants of the aircraft were discovered, and the official search, which had become the largest and most expensive in U.S. history at the time, was reluctantly terminated after 2 grueling weeks. Baroness of the Galapagos. Eloise Verborn de Wagner-Bosk, renowned as the Baroness of the Galapagos, was a young Austrian woman whose mysterious vanishing act occurred in 1935 on the remote island of Floriana within the Galapagos archipelago, situated in the vast expanse of the eastern Pacific Ocean. In 1933, the captivating Baroness arrived on Floriana, accompanied by 2 youthful paramours, Robert Philipson and Rudolf Lorenz, and an Ecuadorian servant. After constructing a residence on the island, she unveiled ambitious plans for the creation of an opulent hotel. On March 27, 1934, the Baroness and her companion Philipson abruptly disappeared from Floriana. Another German settler contended that they had embarked on a passing yacht destined for Tahiti. However, no records existed at the time to substantiate the presence of such a yacht in the Galapagos Islands. Shortly thereafter, the Baroness's other paramour, Rudolf Lorenz, hastily departed Floriana in a boat with a Norwegian fisherman, bound for mainland South America. Tragically, their lifeless bodies were discovered several months later, marooned on a waterless island where their ill-fated vessel had met its demise. Researchers have speculated that Lorenz may have been responsible for the deaths of the Baroness and Philipson, and that fellow colonists may have assisted in concealing these alleged homicides. Nevertheless, the enigma surrounding the disappearance of the Baroness of the Galapagos remains an enduring enigma, never fully unraveled. Disappearance of Flight 19. Flight 19 was a formation of 5 U.S. Navy Grumman TBF Avenger combat aircraft that mysteriously vanished during a routine daytime training mission off the Florida coast in December 1945. This perplexing incident became one of the key events that contributed to the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The unfortunate episode resulted in the loss of all 14 pilots aboard the 5 Avengers. Tragically, this was followed by the vanishing of 13 crew members who were aboard a Navy vessel dispatched to search for the missing planes. Remarkably, no traces of wreckage or remains from the aircraft or the search boat were ever recovered. The inexplicable disappearance of Flight 19 played a significant role in perpetuating the concept of the Bermuda Triangle, an area encompassing Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda, notorious for its purportedly high number of aircraft and maritime vessels vanishing without a trace. Flight 19 is remembered as one of the fabled casualties of the Bermuda Triangle and frequently features in narratives involving the supernatural or unidentified flying objects, UFOs. Taman Shud. Australia's most enigmatic death is famously referred to as the Taman Shud case. This perplexing incident centers around a man discovered lifeless on a beach south of Adelaide in December 1948, with Taman Shud inscribed in Persian on a scrap of paper found in his pocket. The deceased bore no identifiable marks, with his possessions limited to a railway ticket, a comb, some cigarettes, and a piece of paper bearing the Persian phrase Taman Shud, signifying the end. This intriguing clue had been torn from a rare edition of the renowned poet Omar Khayyam's collection, the Rubaiyat, with Taman Shud representing the final words of the book. The pathologist who conducted the autopsy harbored suspicions of poisoning as the cause of death. Further investigation revealed a copy of the same poetry book with the Taman Shud portion missing, replaced by seemingly handwritten letters on other pages. Remarkably, the book also contained a telephone number, which led the authorities to an Australian woman. She professed no knowledge of the deceased individual and indicated that she had once owned the book, but had lent it to someone else. In 2009, Derek Abbott, a professor at the University of Adelaide's School of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, proposed that the coded letters in the book may represent traces of manual encryption or decryption, employing a disposable notepad, a technique often associated with espionage. Intriguingly, this discovery has fueled speculations that the Taman Shud case may have connections to a foreign spy network operating within Australia. Nonetheless, the identity of the deceased remains a persistent and elusive mystery.